You know that it's fun to go out, except I never leave my house. I'm either at work or home, and it seems kind of pathetic just drinking alone. So if you got nothing going on, have some drinks with Ron.
Wow. That one climbed on top of me. Well, that's as good a way as any to intro an episode, I suppose. And, I don't know, it's just... Yeah, I'm gonna...
Flip the lid.
There we go. It's Hawks.
Go rally cap.
That's how we'll differentiate episodes. Hatwear, headwear, cranium accessories.
Go shirts versus skins.
No, I don't think nobody wants to see that. I'm gonna try to stretch this bastard out so you can't see my giant man tits as it is. Fuck. Like Seth Rogen, they titty fucked me. But I know there's got to be a laundry list of stories. I mean, we've done so much crap. Just,
a lot of it I don't want to talk about.
well, that's true. That's the problem. Is there's that line of where this story's so good that I can't tell it. Was the time we went to Dubuque with Zach and his girlfriend, and on the way back, we were driving down. There's this back road behind our high school where you go down the big hill, and I'll never forget it. You jerked the fucking wheel and smashed her head out the fucking window. And she was one of those uppity bitches that it was just like, she couldn't even let us see her cry, but she was totally bothered. Because he just cranks the wheel and her head just snap off the glass. And
that's like the one you see in the movie that you're like, that can't really happen. Yeah,
it can happen. No, it can. The physics behind that are solid.
I forgot about that.
So did I, till just then. I was trying to think of stories. Like, oh yeah, when we bounced her head off the window. That car alone probably has, we probably do a half hour on the shit that happened in that car. But
Shaggin Wagon.
That's, yeah, the original Shaggin Wagon. But that again is where the line comes in of, the story's so good I probably can't tell it. So, unless I would enjoy getting divorced, so.
It had... Well, the day we got rid of it, it had puke stains on the ceiling.
That's me, sorry.
Yeah, the ceiling were bronze. It had puke stains and puke smell that would not come out of it from the passenger seat.
That one wasn't me.
That was all me. That was homemade wine, beer, and fish and cheese.
Oh.
Culminated.
Oh, that almost made my stomach
go. Did you ever hear about that story? Me and Hawes went fishing one night. Yeah, we got a bunch of beer one night and decided we were gonna go fishing. So we went fishing. We did pretty good. Caught some bass and rock bass. Caught a whole bunch of like 7 different species of fish we caught that night. It was pretty fun. And we decided
Wisconsin for you.
Yeah, we decided we were gonna go back to my place, my mom and dad's place, because I was like 18, and we're gonna go back and clean the fish, and we're gonna fry them up and eat the fish.
Clearly, it's the point of the thing.
Right, so we did it. We went back, cleaned them up, ate them, finished all of our beer, and we decided that we're going to go back to his place and we're going to keep drinking in town.
Damn yeah.
So we went back to his place, and he found a jug, like a gallon jug of homemade wine that his grandpa had made. God knows how many years before that.
Oh, it's fermented to perfection.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I drank half of that gallon jug that night.
With probably all the sediment still in the bottom, fucking mouthfuls of yeast.
And the last thing that, I don't even remember, but the last thing Nate remembered was me telling him I was going to go out into the garden, I was going to get worms because we were going fishing the next day. And Nate said, okay, I'm going to bed. And this is at his mom and dad's place.
Mm.
And apparently, the next morning, his mom comes downstairs and starts flipping out because there was like a half-inch of mud over their entire porch, like covering the whole thing just all over. Apparently I had passed out, like face planted in a garden and passed out looking for worms and just rolled around in the wet garden.
Ouch.
And then at some point I woke up, stumbled into their house, got into the entryway porch, but the other door was locked or something. So I must have passed out for a while on the porch and rolled around. And then, for some reason, I don't remember this, don't do this at home, kids, because it's stupid, but woke up, I woke up the next morning at 5:30 in the morning on the side of the road, laying stuck to the passenger seat, literally stuck to it in puke.
Oh.
I got up. I had tank. I remember it. I remember from now on because I had a tank top, shorts, flip flops, covered in mud. I'm like, where in the fuck did this come from? You know, it's one of those things you wake up. And I was like just on the verge of a panic attack because I had no idea where I was.
Yeah, wondering if you've been raped.
Yeah, I got out of the car and I'm looking around. All of a sudden I hear this freaking car goes by on the highway. Here I'm like 100 yards off the main highway, right by the cemetery, the Catholic cemetery. I was on County U. And
shut up.
yeah, and I was like, holy fuck, God, thank God.
You got partway home.
Yeah. I must have decided I was too bad.
It's
So I
like,
pulled
no,
over.
let's get into this field somewhere.
Pulled over. So I'm like, know where I'm at. Go in the car, get in. Click, 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 click. No battery.
Oh.
I had left my lights on all night long. And it never got an on me somehow. So I had to walk 2.5 miles, it was, to Matt Minch's
Because
farm.
before cell phones, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, we grew up in that wonderful era when...
Just prior. It was
Yeah,
like
if you were
2
out in the
years.
country, yeah, you were, what's the word I'm looking for? Fucked.
Yeah, the only guy I knew at that time who had one was Zach Morris. And it was that big.
Yeah, well, shit, when I went
It
to...
was right here.
When I went to broadcasting school in '97, if you had a cell phone, you were a doctor or a drug dealer. That was it.
Some guys had pagers.
I said, well, yeah, that's what
That was
pagers.
mostly drug
Pagers were
dealers, too.
doctors or drug dealers. Cell phones were you were a different category. I had a cell phone, so everyone assumed I was a drug dealer. But it just turned out that you could get a cell phone cheaper than a home phone. So I had to try to explain to everybody, it's $20 a month. Fuck you, I'm not a drug dealer.
He had a backpack for it or a bag.
No, it was this big. It weighed like 2 pounds.
Uh-huh.
Had to slide up. I was the cool guy driving around talking to my mom on the cell phone because they don't need to know who you're talking to be. But that reminded me the night that me and Zach went out to your house and we were playing drinking games at your house. And it was I don't know what the name of the game was, but somebody would name a category, and then you would go around a circle and you'd have to name things in the category. And whoever couldn't name something would then drink, and it would keep going. And your brother did golf courses, and at that point I had never golfed in my life. I had never touched a golf club. So somebody said Lancaster Country Club, which was the only one I knew. So from that point,
Pebble Beach.
I was out. Yeah, I didn't even know fucking Pebble Beach. I knew nothing. I didn't know fucking Augusta, nothing. So somebody said Lancaster before I could. So then I'm just drinking. Every time it goes around the circle, George is naming them, I'm drinking, Zach's drinking, and we're drinking Ice House. So by like midnight, we're absolutely wrecked, and we're going to drive back to town because that's clearly the smart thing to do. And Zach wasn't even 16, so he didn't have a license. He was in far better shape than I was, but the drunken logic was, well, I can't get pulled over with a guy with no license driving because I'll lose my license. So we go to leave his house, and I back out of the driveway sideways, over a rock, into the culvert. My car is almost straight up. But I'm so wasted, I just keep hammering the gas like it's going to do something. You and George had to come and physically lift my car out of the ditch. Do you remember this?
I know. We were.
No,
must have been just
you're
shit
fucking
hot.
no, because your dad actually went into your room and said, "Hey, your buddy's having some problems outside. He keeps hammering the gas." I had hung my car up on a rock in the ditch to the left of your driveway because I turned it too fast backing
just
out.
change oil there because the ditch was so big. You could
Yeah.
fucking straddle it and you
No.
could just walk.
I
in
hung it up on the oil pan until the day that car died. The oil pan was fucking dented. Hung up on a rock and I went, "No, I'm good. I'll just put it in reverse." And so they had to come and physically lift my car up until the front wheels touched the ground and I could pull myself out. At which point I drove myself home
Yeah.
because it's Wisconsin and you should do something that dumb. So I should tell that story as a cautionary tale of exactly what not to do.
I've gotten lucky a lot of times doing that shit.
It's this whole Wisconsin thing, though. I mean, it's weird. It's this drinking culture here. I've been to many a drinking class in my day. I hate to have to say, but it's literally, yeah, it's the drinking culture, and they try to unteach you that, but you can't. It's just like It's Wisconsin. I grew up. Somebody's driving with a beer between the legs. That's just how it worked. Like,
Yeah.
Thankfully, we've kind of evolved from that, and that's not the case anymore. But back then, shit, the cops were cool. I mean, if you were drinking, you were drinking. If you were good to go, hey, be on your way. You're good to drive.
Straight home.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Don't let me
Just
see you out
straight
here
home.
again. If I see you, then there's going to be a ticket. And by God, I don't want to do any paperwork.
See, the excuse back then was, well, we're going to drink because there's nothing else to do.
There really wasn't.
Which there's not. But
Frankly,
it's...
I wrote papers on it in high school. And the paper I wrote was, how dare you guys bitch at us about underage drinking when all you guys do is drink. And in fact, we can't even go bowling because you fuckers have leagues 6 nights a week where you do nothing but get hammered. The only thing else open in town is 3 bars where you guys are getting hammered. There's not a damn thing for kids to do but watch you drunks, so it's...
In the Hobby Lobby.
And Richard Turner. He's like the baseball card savant of small town Wisconsin. To this day, I guarantee you, if we went and found him, he could probably name 3 transactions that each of us had with him.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee it. He could remember.
1,000.
Yeah, but I
Everybody
bet he
used
would
to know.
remember them. So, oh, how's that Ryan Sandberg rookie card working out? You know, he would know. I mean...
That fucker, have you ever met anybody in your life that can write legibly smaller?
Oh my
You know what I
God!
mean? It was like you had to get your microscope out.
Oh my God, seriously, he made notes, detailed notes with every transaction, and it was like receipt paper, but he'd get fucking 6 lines in there.
Yeah.
He'd initial each transaction, prices he paid, prices you paid, the difference. Good Lord. Like I said, he was literally a baseball card savant.
The best was after he spent money there, he'd get his deck of cards out and literally like...
Oh,
I should have been dealing in Vegas because his hands were going like this.
Oh, he was good.
Just fucking flying through him.
Yeah.
And he'd say,
I
he'd
forgot
have
about that.
cards, decks of cards with every baseball, football, and like hockey team. Basketball.
That was great.
on
I
all these.
forgot that.
And you had a chance to guess the team.
Yes.
For- if you spent,
Yes.
If you spent like $10, you had a chance to win like 2 or something like that.
Yeah, which was
I don't
still
know what the
fabulous.
ratio
Who
was.
gave a shit,
Yeah,
you know?
especially back in the 80s, late 80s.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my God. You know how much of my paper route that was right there?
So he'd sit there and he'd flip the cards all out and you'd pick one and you hand it to him. And he'd sit there with his fucking fingernails that looked like he was doing coke like that long.
Oh, my God. Yellow and thick.
Yeah, yep.
You could kill a man with
He'd
them.
sit there and he'd look at it and he'd go, get your card. He'd say, I can tell you the sport if you want to cut it in half. He'd tell you if it was baseball or football.
That's
or
true. That's
and
true.
If he'd drop it down in half.
I
And then
forgot that.
I think I've won probably 3 times in my life.
I don't know if I ever did. I might, maybe once. Maybe.
I think I've got it a couple times. But then you'd guess and you win like 50 cents and he'd still find a way to fuck you out of 50 cents.
Oh, yeah.
He prided himself on fucking 6-year-olds over. Oh, you got a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie there? Well, I got this Jerome Walton. He's going to be pretty big for the Cubs.
Yeah,
So
he
just
plays for the
straight
Cubs.
up.
You like the Cubs, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So my cousin says, I want Andre Dawson rookie card. Oh, I got a couple of them. I'll go get them. So, you know, the big one was he'd have to go upstairs.
Yeah,
If Richard had to go upstairs, then he was getting into the stash. So he goes upstairs and he comes down with 2 Andre Dawson rookie cards. One in absolute perfect mint. The other one has got a banged up corner. Well, this one's like 65. This one's like 40. Blah, blah, blah. So he's, I don't know what I want. Richard turns his back. He goes, I'll take this one. Okay, $40. And fucking swapped him around, and somehow the savant missed the banged up corner, sold him the mint one for half the price. It was...
I bought a Ken Griffey Jr. just worthless fucking something out of a box of cereal or something. I don't even know where it came from at.
Kellogg's.
At the Rendezvous in Prairie.
Oh,
And
some guy with an open loincloth.
yeah, I bought it for like $2 or something over there. Never seen it before, anything like it. Took it into the Hobby Lobby to show Richard, and Richard wanted it.
Oh,
And I was
clearly.
like, it was like $15 or something, you know. And he's like, "Well, I'll give you $10 for it." All right, you know. It was like the one time I literally fucked him in the ass over a deal, and as a
Right.
little kid, you're like super proud of that.
Oh, yeah, that's the big... I beat an adult.
And then the worst thing was, or the best thing for me, worst thing for him is when we got to be a little bit older and he was still open. Is I think he was in the Hobby Lobby and then he moved for a while.
Yeah,
It was over by, like, where the old
over on the
Subway
corner.
was.
Yep.
And I would go in there, and there'd be little kids in there he'd be trying to fuck over. And then you'd be like, hey, kid,
Don't
do
do
that.
that.
Yeah,
Don't
he
do
would
that.
get so mad at you.
Yeah.
You'd be like, no, don't do that.
You're taking soup out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Making $12.50 a week at a paper route, for fuck's sake. Make more money giving hand jobs at an alley in Madison. Like, what the fuck do you want from me? I'm busting my ass. I'm putting in fucking 12 hours a week hauling papers. I'm not even getting $1 a fucking hour. What do you want from me? You're selling me 75, 80%, 200% markup. Fuck shop.
There was a kid there at when Richard had it that got caught stealing a bunch of cards from Richard.
Oh.
He had those cases that were open on the sides, and you'd flip.
Oh yeah, I like
The
those.
whole row would come forward.
I like
It had
those.
like 4 or 5 cards. And well, this kid was a tall, skinny kid with like long fingers. So he would go like this on the side, grab the cards, pull it over to the edge, pull it out. And he stole a fucking ton of them.
Oof.
And he got caught, and they only caught him for like 2 of the cards. And so he ended up getting like fencing the rest of them at dirt cheap, so he made sure he didn't have them.
Right.
And there was really good cards that he got away with, but I never had the balls to do anything like
No,
that.
I couldn't. I wouldn't. Not been. No, I wouldn't have been stealing nothing.
There was 2 kids in my grade. The one of them was one of the Ouija board guys, and another guy. And Richard used to have seizures. Did you know that?
I'd heard that. I never saw it, but I heard about that.
He had a fucking seizure when they were in there, like just dropped. They proceeded to go. Yes, they went around the back.
Here comes the jackpot! Run!
Yeah, they did. They like fucking cleaned him out while he had a seizure.
Well,
They
I
were
mean,
getting caught.
fuck, fair game.
Yeah.
But he used to get pissed if you'd swear in there.
Yeah.
He couldn't swear because his mom was there, and if you swore, he'd throw you out. Richard, come upstairs.
Yeah, he probably had to come.
I gotta go. We gotta close the store. Mom said I gotta go upstairs. It's time for soup.
No.
You have to leave. Okay, I'm 12. I'll go away.
That's exactly what it was like. Too.
Yeah, it was literally like, Mom said it's time for food. Yeah. I mean, huge part of my youth, blowing my hard-earned cash, getting robbed on baseball cards that are now worth less than a back alley hand job in Madison, to restate my point. Like I said, he's the baseball card savant of Lancaster. You probably name a coin or a card. Beckett, issue 472, page 62. It's worth $4.27. And it's like, you wouldn't even know that he said it. You know, just like rattle it off. Growing up in a small town. Well, with that, it's probably a good time to sign off for this episode. Thanks for watching the Bloody Mary run.
Yeah, this one wasn't much other than looking at the bottles on the table. We didn't really talk this time much.
Well, not about drinking, but we got some good stories in.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's the key. So for Drinks with Ron, I'm Ron, signing off.
And Parker.